Hi, Candle Besties. My name is Sandy. I'm the founder of Love You Candle Co. And today's video is going to be very special because I have a special guest. I know you've seen him before on my channel. My husband, Edwin from, where are you from?
Oh, you don't know where I'm
I
from?
don't know where you're from.
We live together.
Do we?
My name is Edwin Anthony. I'm the owner of a digital marketing agency called Resolutions Design. We focus on everything related to e-commerce businesses, branding, web design, marketing, all that good stuff.
So I asked Edwin to join us today, but before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, comment any questions that you have after you watch this video. If you have any questions for Edwin, I will be putting all his information in the description box below in case you want to contact him directly with any questions. Um, Anything related to your website, you can ask him away. His contacts will be in the description box. So, the reason why we're here today with Edwin is because I've seen so many questions regarding your websites and what should you do, what should you not do. And I felt like I couldn't answer any of those questions myself because I am not, an expert when it comes to that. So I figured, why not ask Edwin and pick his brain on all these different questions that the candle community has regarding your websites and your shops. So what I went ahead and did is that I went into groups and kind of like started collecting different questions that I found that a lot of you guys were asking that you didn't know the answers to. And I figured I'd go ahead and ask Edwin today and see what he has to tell us and see what knowledge he can share with us. That way we can stop messing up our websites.
Glad to be on board.
All right. Is there anything before I start with the questions? Is there anything that you want to tell me, that you want to share before we get started with the Q&As?
Well, first and foremost, I want to say thank you for the invite and thinking of me. That's always so nice. But I'd say that I hope that this is the first and last video that we could talk about this. I'm sure that this might open up new opportunities for us to talk about other issues that people might have on their websites. So think of this as episode one, where we tackle some of the basic questions.
This is the teaser.
This is a teaser, right?
Mhm.
And then,
I like getting it.
right. And then right after that,
Is that appropriate?
and then, right after that, we could,
I like making him feel uncomfortable sometimes.
and then right after that, hopefully people will have more questions and then I could answer them
Okay.
afterwards.
All right, cool. Okay, my first question to you is, how did you start your business and what is it that you do exactly? And if you're an affiliate with anybody, that way we can disclose that so people know exactly.
All right, cool. So how we started was a very interesting journey with the company. Um, Back in the days, Sandy used to have this waist training business. I kind of had the waist training business as well. That could probably be another episode. We could talk about
You
that
know
drama.
what? We actually, if you remember in our first video, the fragrance, we actually said something like that, and we would actually tell them what happened. And a lot of people in those comments said, "What's the details? We want to know what the side story is."
Yeah, no, totally. So if you guys want to learn more about that drama, yeah, let us know down
Because
below.
it was drama.
But going back to the whole thing, right? So we started that business, and the business it was reaching its final ends, and so I started helping people or small companies like build the website. I also did your website. I did my website, and then that's when you came up with a great idea. It's like, hey, you know what? You should just do websites for people. And I was like, okay. So I started dabbling on it. I had a few clients, and then it started to pick up. And then from there, that's where I started requiring more help to get better websites, right? To get like better designs, marketing, all that good stuff. And then 10 years later, we're here, right? We're still pumping and doing all sorts of things, helping businesses out, especially. The other part of your question was, who am I affiliate with? Well, it's mostly Shopify. We focus mostly on e-commerce business brands. We also dabble with other types of projects, but I think our more core front operations is everything e-commerce. And from there, it's helping small businesses and then helping mid-tier businesses. We started evolving with the clients like that. And now we're up to the point where we do retainers. We help them with marketing, branding, any business that needs help to kind of like get off that startup. That's what we're for. Um, Back then when we first started, it was just from the ground up, right? Now it's okay. If you're plateaued in your business and you need to go to that next level, that's where we're catering to
So
now.
is it fair to say that your clients right now are mainly people that have already established their business, they have sales coming in, and you basically just help them get to the next level in their business?
Yes, correct. So in the beginning of the operations, when we first started, I used to help out like the small mom and poppers, the ones who are just starting off. They have, starting from ground zero.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're at the point where we're like, okay, we like to help those that kind of plateau from that startup, that they start generating a few dollars here and there. They probably max out at maybe 5,000 a month, and they can't revenue more earnings. And so
Mm.
we help them break that plateau and go to that next level of business. That's where we're at right now. Hmm.
Anyways, okay, so you are a Shopify expert,
Yes, I
a
am
certified Shopify
certified
expert.
Shopify expert. You can see my big face picture on the Shopify website too. I'm there on the Shopify experts, but yeah, we've been doing Shopify experts for quite a while.
Okay. Now I'm gonna ask you some of my own questions before I get into other
Yeah.
questions. Um, so I want to know because when I first started my first business, I didn't start with Shopify,
Hmm.
right? If you are just starting out your candle business, and I'm specifically talking about candle makers,
Hmm.
if you are just starting out your candle business, would you recommend people starting on Shopify?
Well, they could if they want to. Shopify does have a light plan, right? I think it's like, I'm not sure if they changed the price. It's probably like $9, and it's kind of like a hybrid. It's kind of a website, but kind of not. But to answer your question more specifically, if we're starting on zero money, we have no sales, we're not even sure if this thing is going to stick, then it's really up to you if you want to risk money and paying Shopify the starter fee, which I believe right now it's at $29 a month,
Mm-hmm.
and try that out for like maybe 90 days. So you're looking at what, 30 times three is like $90 for the whole 3 months. And you could see if the business is going to take off or not, risking the fact that you just spent $90. But if you really don't want to spend any money and you just want to kind of like test the waters and really play it safe, I would say that starting, let's say, a Facebook page or an Instagram page, and then try to see if you could gain momentum first. I think the big hype about starting a business people don't understand is that you need to create an audience first. It's always about the customers first. If you build an audience and you have people that are constantly talking and they like your products or your portfolio, whatever it is, right? You build that audience. Now you could start prepping them to say, okay, my store is launching soon. Or even use platforms where they don't ask for too much upfront in the beginning. You could do like a Etsy. Big Cartel is where you started. I don't know if they're,
Um,
yeah.
I did start with Big Cartel because when I started, I only had like I think 4 or 5 products. So when I started on Big Cartel, it was completely free, and I synchronized I think my PayPal, um, and I added my products. It was completely free, and I remember telling you, hey, I'm averaging about right now about $7,000 in sales. And you're like, I think you're ready for the next step, which is Shopify, which I didn't know anything about Shopify. And that's when I upgraded from Big Cartel, which was super rinky dinky. I still have videos and screenshots, to Shopify. Why is it that you felt that at that point I was ready to go to Shopify?
Yeah. So Big Cartel, I think they're still operating, right?
Yeah, they are.
It's not a bad path to try something out. But to answer your question, the real reason is because of the features for e-commerce. Big Cartel, try to think of it like back in the MySpace days where it was like, HTML and it was just basic stuff. Um, Whereas, Shopify, they have tons of apps. They have tons of developers that add apps that help you with your e-commerce. For example, Klaviyo. Klaviyo is an email system that back in the days it was Mailchimp, right? For you to collect emails.
Clivio was MailChimp?
No, no. So back in the days, the
Oh,
CMS
yes.
system
Mhm.
was Mailchimp, right? something happened, whatever, but now the leader is Klaviyo. So Klaviyo is the place where, you could put a pop-up on your website and collect emails from potential buyers, and
Mm-hmm.
you start building that email list.
Why is that important?
That's critical because when you get visitors for the first time, there's always that possibility that they could become a client or a buyer. But what happens if they're just not ready yet? They're not ready to buy yet because payday hasn't hit them yet, right? So you might have a pop up that says, sign up and save 20% off your first purchase with a discount code. So what you're doing is that you want to give them a discount code to incentivize them to sign up to your email list. That's the exchange you're doing. You want their email address, and in return, you give them a 20% off. And so what happens is that if they become a purchase, then you could promote to them. You could do email blasts to them, either reminding them of what they were looking at or reminding them to go ahead and continue with their abandonment cards, etc. Right? So if they purchase from you, great. They become part of that email list, and then you could resell them again. Or if they didn't buy, like they didn't add a product to the cart, they didn't do anything, Klaviyo has a system where they know who they are, right? And if you want, you could send an email blast out to them saying, "Hey, remember me or whatever on our website, come buy from us," and so on and so forth. So that's why Klaviyo is important. It's not just about one sale, like getting that one sale from that one client. It's about getting that one sale, getting their email address, and then shooting out newsletters so that they could buy from you again at least 4 times in 1 year. That's the idea.
In your experience, people that don't have email marketing set up on their business websites, are they losing out on money?
Tremendously. And the best way that I could explain this is like this. So let's pretend you pay money for advertisements for people to come into your website. Let's say you
Mm-hmm.
have a Facebook ad you're running. And on that Facebook ad, in 1 month, you spend about $1,000. $1,000, you probably got, hypothetically speaking, 5,000 people to come into your website that 1 month. Out of those 5,000 people, only a small percentage purchased. So let's hypothetically call it, just to put some easy numbers, 100 people, 100 clients purchased from you out of the 5,000 that came to your website.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened to those 4,900 people that you paid $1,000 for just to come into your website? That money goes down the toilet. You don't see them again. Why? Because you don't have a system to collect emails and to throw advertisements at them so that they could come back and you could recuperate that investment that you did for marketing. So if you're paying money for people to come in the door, if
Mm-hmm.
they leave the door, that's money still spent. You have to have some type of system that you could incentivize them to say, hey, sign up here so that you could go ahead and buy my product. So there's things like browsing abandonment and cart abandonment. I'm sure you heard of those.
Yeah.
That you get those emails and stuff like that. That's what many businesses do. And that's why you should never leave
I,
money
I
out the
will
door like
say
that.
that I have noticed that email marketing does does bring in extra income that you are probably not counting on, because I've seen that with my own cards. Also, then the other part is the abandonment cards, right? I am the type of, I'm not too much of an online shopper because I don't really have the patience to be waiting for a package. But I hate going to the mall or out to the store now to buy because my anxiety of being around so many people just gets to me. So I am more of an online shopper nowadays. But what I've noticed is that if I'm on the computer and I have all these tabs open and then I get sidetracked with something else, it's not that I didn't want to buy. I just got sidetracked and I just left my tabs open. And then I completely forgot that I had a cart open. But then I'll get an email saying, "Hey, you forgot this product. Come on and, close your purchase." I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's right." And then I'll go and I'll close it. But without that abandonment cart, I would have never done that. I would just forgotten.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I'm a different type of shopper. Like, let's say I like something, like I really like it. I won't buy it right away.
What?
I will
Even if
purposely
you like it and you got the money and
hold
everything?
on, hear me out. So what I do is that I will purposely sign up. I'll create an account.
Okay.
Okay. I'll create an account. When I create an account, I'll see if the store incentivizes me with a discount because I created an account. There are businesses out there that if you simply create an account due to their loyalty program, they give you some type of reward.
I feel like all stores have that now. A
So
pop-up.
so I purposely do that. So I see what incentive I get for signing up. Then number two, I purposely add the product into the cart and I abandon it like purposely. Like at the checkout, right when I'm about to put my credit card, I don't put it. I just let it go.
But do you do that now because because of your business, or you've always been that way
No,
as a consumer?
because of the business. Because of the
Okay.
business, I understand that that is just something that businesses do.
Mm.
And so because of that, I'm just like, okay, I'm going to wait for the abandonment cart recovery to see what offer they throw at me. And then sometimes I'll be like, okay, I won't get that one. I'll wait until I get the third email. And that third email, that's the sweet email. But sometimes that third email will take a while. So if I want the product right away, I'll just bite on the first discount code that they give me, and then that's what I'll use for the checkout.
Mm.
But if I'm like, no, I'm a penny pincher, I really want to get the best deal, I'll wait until like maybe a month later, and then whatever that last offer was, I'll
Oh,
grab
then
that.
that's like on something that you don't need.
Right. It becomes more of like I want it, but I don't really need it. But if it's something that I really need, then I'll do the same thing too. I'll just same day I'll abandon the cart. I'll look in my email, grab that discount code, and I'll buy it using the discount code.
Mm. Okay, fair enough. All right, let me go to the first question. The first question that it was a question that a lot of people had was, what is SEO?
Oh, okay. SEO is an acronym that stretches out to search engine optimization. This is high level, in other words, top of the sales funnel marketing. So just to put it into context, marketing is a sales funnel. The top of the sales funnel is where people first get to know you. So think about it like the mall. The mall, you walk into the mall. Okay. When you walk into the mall, you're not already in the store. You see a whole bunch of stores. You're outside, right? And so as you're walking, you're seeing the signs of the stores and all that, right? The top of the sales funnel is before you walk into the door of the store. So that same concept goes with Google and the internet. When you go on Google, you have an intent to buy something. And so you go on Google and you type in, I don't know, uh, cardigan sweater because you have the intent to purchase.
Mhm.
SEO is the marketing where your business comes out on the first page in first position because of the efforts that you put on your website for SEO. It's the business practice of your website so that your business could show up on the first page of Google. That's what SEO is into context.
So when I go into Google or Bing, all these different browsers, and I type in um, soy candle,
Mhm.
right? When I see these links, these businesses up and at the top, does that mean that they're paying for that spot, or they organically landed on that spot?
Yeah, that's a good question. So it's mixed, right? Depending on what you're looking for, soy candles in this example, you'll see some images at the top. Excuse me. Those images are called Google Shopping or Google Merchant Center, and people are paying to show up there. So, kind of like the whole business pay to play, you're doing the same thing where you register your business in Google Merchant Center and you put a photo, this whole spiel of things, right? And then you'll show up on page 1 with images at the top or sometimes even on the side depending on what device you're using. Then you have the ones that are just showing the name of your business, right? You come up first or second or third, but you have the word sponsored on it. That's called Google PPC. It's called pay per click. For the keyword soy candle, you are paying a certain amount of dollars for each click that a customer clicks on in order to get to your website. Depending on how many people are competing for that keyword, people go ahead and click on it and you have to pay for each click. SEO, on the other hand, is what's below sponsored. It's just the name of your business. It has a little meta description at the bottom, but it doesn't say sponsored on it. That means that Google put you first. You get what I mean?
Mm.
Based on your reputation to that keyword. And so the businesses that you'll find when you type that keyword search, if you type in soy candles, skip the images at the top, skip those that say sponsored. The first one that comes out, that business has pushed the most SEO effort for that keyword soy candle.
All right. The following question is regarding SEO also.
Oh,
And it's, what are myths spread about SEO?
wow, myths that it
Yes.
doesn't work, that it's snake oil. Look,
Snake oil?
snake oil. All right, look. Here's the problem with SEO, realistically in the business world, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's there's so many people that do it, like so many people that they claim that they do SEO. Here's the issue: SEO is not a marketing investment if you're looking for a quick return. Like,
Oh, it's
yeah,
not?
it's not at all. SEO is almost like credit. So this conversation, hopefully everybody who's watching, they're from the United States or you're from a country where the credit system works, right? Um, Credits, how credit works today. You know that if you're like 17 years old or whatever, you have zero credit. You've never had a credit card in your life.
You have to build your credit.
You have to build it. So if you want that BMW or something like that, it's not that you can't have it. It's just that if you want to play with the banks and you want a loan so that you could do leases or whatever, you have to have credit. Otherwise, they can't do business with you.
Mm-hmm.
The other way that they could do business with you is if you come up with the suitcase of cash and you're like, I'll buy that car cash. That's PPC.
Google PPC.
Yes. If you want to play the
I feel
money in,
like
money
there's
out,
like so many things out there and it's confusing if you
yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. Google Shopping and Google AdWords.
They're
Those two,
separate?
they're separate. Yes.
Oh.
Those two are two forms of marketing with Google that it's like the analogy that I'm giving here or the comparison of you going to the car dealership, you have no credit, and you just come with a suitcase of cash and say, I want to buy that car cash or I want to buy that house cash. Here's the money, give it to me. And Google will be like, all right, here you go. And then boom, you're there. The problem with that method, as you know, is that who has all this money just laying around and saying, here you go? So with PPC, it's expensive. Not a lot of people have, let's say, $10,000 ready of disposable income to play.
Minimum?
Minimum in order for you to see some good results. Like if you want to see some profits, you have to have some good money. And from the accounts that we've noticed, those clients who spend between $7,000 to $10,000 a month, are the ones that are winning. They're the ones that are seeing the sales. But then these
What
other,
are their average revenue?
that depends on the business and their profit margins and all
But
that.
just an
That's
estimate.
hard to say because we have some clients that they produce good numbers sales wise, but their profit margins suck. So therefore, it's kind of hard to tell if it's really reputable for them, right? It's hard to say unless I know like what's your price line for the product, what's your profit margin, and then based on that, we'll do the math and say, okay, this is reputable. Now, let's go back to the SEO thing. SEO is like building credit. You have to build credit. You get your first Macy's card, your
Mm-hmm.
gas card, you start paying on time, da da da. Your credit score goes up. Therefore, now when you ask for a loan, you get a good interest rate and people are willing to lend you money, right? Or the things that you want to buy. With Google, it's the same thing. With SEO, you have to put in the work. In other words, you could probably not see results for a hot 1 year or 8 months.
What?
There's some businesses that could be as fast as 6 months. It depends on the industry. But there's other businesses out there that they could pump in SEO, 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 and they don't see a sale to like month number 8 or 9. Now, here's the problem: you're paying this person to do your SEO and you're not seeing no sales for month 1, 2, 3, 4. For a lot of small business owners, that's not an easy pill to swallow.
It's not, because
It's not.
it's gonna feel like I'm throwing away money
And you're going to start
because
feeling
I'm not
like,
seeing a
right.
return on my investment.
And you start feeling that the person who's doing SEO is a scam. Like they're just robbing your money.
Oh wow.
Right. It's serious.
Yeah, because the next question that I had was, how fast can SEO start
There
working?
you go. So if you understand that explanation where you put in the work and it's like you're not seeing any results or the traffic is just so low, right?
Mm-hmm.
that you're wondering what's going on, right? That you get frustrated. However, established businesses, they understand the name of the game. They understand it probably because they saw it from another SEO expert that by mistake they fired. And then they realize, oh man, I should have never let that go because we had some money coming in. I just got upset. I cut them off. And now we really have no money after we just cut them off. So we need to rehire an SEO person to start again and rebuild our reputation. Right. All right. So here's a myth of SEO that's very true. You have to be very careful with these advertisers, especially on TikTok and Reels, when they say, we will guarantee you to put you on page one or else you don't pay for it or something like that. We guarantee you, your business could be on page one in less than a week or in less than a month. That, my friends, is a scam. Because here's the truth. Yes, he's not technically lying, or she. They can put you on page one. But on what keyword? They're going to put you on page one for keywords that no one searches or something that's completely irrelevant to your business. So, say, for example, soy candles, right?
Oh, I see what you mean.
They're going to put you on page one for lids, the candle lid. It's like, well, you sell candle
So
lids,
they're
right?
technically not lying.
They just get you. They get you. Like, because it's almost like a mechanic abusing a woman because she's a woman, and a mechanic is using all these jargons to really milk you for repairing your car. It's that same concept.
Okay, I
You get
get
what I'm
you.
saying? So that, that's pretty hard. But the truth is, folks, that when it comes to SEO, there's a lot of moving parts. And if you don't have an expert that could explain all that to you and tell you, look, this is what it is, then, you're risking your money. But that's really the bad part. Everybody says that they know how to do SEO and they do bad things and all that stuff. So you got to be careful.
All right, my last question with SEO is SEO expensive?
All right. So the truth about that is that it also depends, but let me just break this down very easy. Let's start in the beginning about what type of industry are you in?
The candle business.
So in the candle business, if you look at it, I could say that it's partially saturated, not extremely saturated. It's partially, like, I think it's getting there. Um, the more competition you have, the more you have to do. So if you're relying on just one SEO expert, let's pretend that you just started a candle business and you haven't hired no marketing team except for one SEO person, because that one SEO person, their price point sounded legit. Like, they're like, oh, $1,000 a month. Yeah, sure. Let's do it. Right. But then you're not doing social media. You're not doing, live. You're not doing email marketing. You're not doing any other types of marketing except just SEO. It's going to be crickets. It's going to be crickets because Google is looking at all the internet signals for your popularity on your website. And so if you have a very difficult niche, it's going to take a while. Like I told you, you could see results of up to a year. Excuse me. But you could speed up that process if you simultaneously do social media, you do YouTube, you do shorts, you do TikTok, you do, like, you're all over the place. Your business is showing up on multiple areas of the internet. That will help speed up the process because there's other big websites that are pointing from their highly reputable websites to you,
To your
to your
business.
business. And so Google looks at them, they're like, okay, we're going to start ranking them up, right? But then there's other niches that they perform very well. And let's hypothetically, just to end this, to end your question here, let's say it's a established business that they have all their moving parts. They have TikTok, they have Instagram, they have Facebook, they have all this.
They have a presence everywhere.
Here I come in, I do SEO, they go through the roof in like less than 2 months. They go through the roof quickly because they're already doing these other things.
So to finalize on the SEO topic, if you are just starting out in the candle industry, SEO is not for you.
Absolutely not.
You're just wasting your money.
You might as well do it yourself. You should. It makes no sense for you to hire somebody to do SEO when you just started off.
How do you do SEO yourself?
You go to my channel and I could show you like the basics
Oh.
and all that stuff, right?
Touche, touche.
You go on YouTube and you get to learn yourself on how to do
Mhm.
basic essential things, but there's going to come a point where things get technical. And even if you try to watch videos, it's going to be a bit difficult in order for you to do it yourself because you have to have some type of tech skills to do it. Um, and so for that reason, I think that if anybody who's starting off, SEO should not be the first thing that they do. No, no way. Unless they know what they're doing. If you know SEO and you've just been doing it, yeah, why not? It wouldn't hurt you.
Well, thank you for that rundown on SEO. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to appreciate it.
I hope so.
Now let's move on to the next one. And this one was a top one. Um, Etsy or Shopify slash any other website. I put Shopify just for example purposes, but Etsy or my own website. And if it's okay to have both, what are the pros and cons to each?
Yeah. So, all right. So when it comes to Etsy, there's nothing wrong with Etsy, right? Etsy, I think, is pretty cool, especially if you're just starting off. This is probably one of the first avenues you want to take, right? There's nothing wrong with it.
Mm.
You just have to understand what comes with it, right? So you create a profile on Etsy, make sure you read all their terms and conditions, right? And really understand how much is it that they're charging you in order to get that one sale. Because remember, they're a platform too, just like Amazon, Facebook, and all these places. They get their money from you, the vendor.
Transaction
Transactions,
fees, right?
right?
And listing fees.
Listing fees,
Mhm.
promotional fees, however it is, and all that eats into your profit margins. But remember, you're just starting off. And also remember that when people buy a product from Etsy, here you go, let's say you buy a candle, the candle smells amazing. Someone comes over and says, "Oh my goodness, what's that smell? Where did you buy that candle?" You know what they're going to say?
Etsy.
"I bought it on Etsy." So your brand
That's
awareness
so true because
takes a
anytime I
dump.
bought anything on Etsy and I get asked, "Where'd you get it?" "Oh, I got it on Etsy."
It takes a dump.
I never say the shop owner or the name of the store.
No one's going to remember your brand.
Mm.
And so where it hurts you is not that you got the first sale, it's repeat business. People are not going to go to Etsy and be like, "So where is this girl?" And they're going to be like, "Candle this," just like how they found you the first time. I'm not saying that they won't, but I'm just saying that for
The
brand
chances.
awareness, the
Yeah, the
chances, correct.
chances. Yeah.
That's number one. Number two is the emails.
Oh, yeah.
So remember, you spend money on Etsy to get the customer, but then what happens when you want to sell them again?
I can't do email marketing.
So I think, well, back in the days when I saw Etsy wasn't giving out emails, I think they are now. I'm not sure, or it's probably very hidden somewhere. So maybe somebody who's
I
watching, they
don't
might.
yeah, because I don't sell on Etsy,
Mhm.
so I don't know.
Yeah,
I know I buy on Etsy, but I don't sell on
they
Etsy.
might give emails, they might not.
I
I
know
don't
back then
remember.
they didn't.
Yeah,
They wouldn't give you that
yeah.
information.
Back then they didn't,
No.
but let's pretend that they do. The simple fact that you have to get those emails out and export them and import them into your Klaviyo because Etsy doesn't talk to Shopify of the emails. And then Shopify, you have to push it to Klaviyo so that you could do those email blasts. That's a lot.
That's a lot of work
That's
to
a lot of
administrative work,
work,
yeah.
right? And so you're like,
Versus when you already have it on your website, then you can just do it from there.
it's easy
From the
because
app, from
Shopify does
Shopify.
speak to
Yeah.
Klaviyo. Exactly.
Is Shopify the only one that speaks to Klaviyo?
No, there's other competitors such as Big Commerce, probably Wix. There's others out there. But to answer your question, ultimately, it's not that it's bad to have a hybrid between Shopify and Etsy. You just have to be very tactical. So, all your products that are just Etsy, let's pretend you have 50 candles and all of these are allocated just for Etsy. Make sure that you package those candles so that you incentivize people to visit your Shopify store for their next order, not to go back on Etsy.
Mm-hmm.
Get it? Because you spent money on Etsy to acquire them in the first place, but you want repeat purchases. You want them to come back and buy another product or rebuy the product,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And so if you package that inventory of just Etsy to say, "Hey, come back to my real site and save 10% on your next order,"
Mm-hmm.
That's better. That's when it's good. So it could work hand on hand. My argument is just brand awareness. I really don't like the brand awareness. I don't like how much Etsy takes on processing fees. I don't like how much, like all that other, I just don't like it. I don't like it. And then on top of that, you're competing against other people that are probably selling something similar to you,
True.
and they're trying to outbid you by lowering their
I
prices
just feel
versus
like at
yours.
any given moment, they have the control to shut you down.
Yeah, they have control of the whole shopping experience. They have the control of the vibe, and then they put you right next to somebody else that's probably more hungrier and lesser quality than you, and for a lower price. And then they're like, "Yeah, I want it for $1 less," and you
Yeah,
lose the
like
customer.
there's an Etsy shop owner right now that she's using my candle brand name,
Right? Where's
but
the
she just changed the letter.
Yeah? So there's that too.
Yeah.
So if you expose your brand and next to your competitors are going to see that. And if you don't have your logo
Well, your
trademarked,
unethical competitors.
yeah, if you're not trademarked or anything like that, here they come and they steal your idea. So there's tons of things that there's pros and cons about it. I would say that ultimately, to finalize this answer, yeah, go ahead, start with Etsy, but make sure you get enough sales so that you could close out your Etsy account in less than 6 months.
Because at that point, you've established reputation.
You've established the revenue in order for you to afford your marketing substantially enough to not depend on Etsy.
Hmm. Okay. All right. The next question. Is there an easy way to reach Shopify customer service?
Oh boy.
I don't even know why that was a question.
Holla at your boy. I got you. I'll be your customer support. You know what? I was actually thinking about creating some type of a program where I charge people, like, let's say, just $5 a month, something very cheap, and I could be the customer support because I understand how important it is to have the human connection with somebody in order to solve a problem. Technical things, a lot of people, they get frustrated. They hit their keyboard against the screen and they get very frustrated, right? And just by having a chat with Shopify
I hate talking to bots. I
bots.
hate it. Also, I noticed that when somebody asked this question, I actually went on my Shopify store and I'm like, okay, if I want to talk to somebody, what do I do?
Yeah.
I couldn't find.
No, you won't.
I couldn't find where to go to speak with customer
And they
service.
make it very difficult for you to actually find the bot in the first place. Like Shopify is working very heavy in order to make sure that they could spend as least money as possible when it comes to like customer support, because that costs money to them. And so what that means is that first they had people taking phone calls, now it's just bots or chats, and then they're making them overseas. So you're probably talking to some people from India or something like that, where they're only trained for basic questions. They're not trained to like, hey, how do I eliminate my Shopify link for my footer? They're not aimed for that. They're aimed for, hey, I didn't get paid. What's going on? Oh, let me check your account. Like basic administrative stuff, but not like deep stuff, right? And so for that reason, I understand that. But the truth behind that answer is that it's basically allocating resources. Shopify realized that it cost them a lot of money in order to have these people on standby for the phone. I think Apple's doing the same thing too. But that's why. So, the answer is no, you're not going to get somebody over the phone. I always say have a relationship with a Shopify expert. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to see what can I do to, because it costs money. At the end of the day, it costs money. Like we understand you need help, but we need to get paid for our time too. You know what I mean? To help.
True.
So for having like maybe a $5 a month type of thing, I don't know. It could be something where, all right, let's do a quick phone call.
There you go. There you have something to think about
Yeah,
for your
let's see what's up.
passive income.
There we go.
Another question that was asked was, what is the best platform? And I understand you're with Shopify, but I guess there's a lot of people that feel that Shopify is very hard to use, very hard to set up, and they end up going to either Square or Wix. Like, why is it that Shopify the best one out of all of them? And I feel like this is a little biased because you're a Shopify expert.
Well, to a certain extent, I'm gonna be honest with you about my bias on
Or like
Shopify.
WordPress, a custom build, and all of that.
Yeah. In order to compete with a lot of other folks who have businesses, it's very easy to jump into Wix, especially with their commercials that they have going on. They spend a lot on marketing. Like you
They
see
do.
Wix commercials left and
I don't
right.
really see Shopify commercials.
Right. Like you barely see it. And if you do, then it's probably like on an ad on Instagram or something like that. But for the most case, we see a lot of Wix, right?
Hmm.
I don't like Wix because Wix is like a mob when it comes to like keeping proprietary information. So let's pretend that you start off on Wix. You have 1,000 clients, you have your domain name, you have
Hmm.
all of this, all of that, right? And then all of a
Hmm.
sudden you realize, hey, Wix is limited because they don't have this app that I want, or they don't have this connection with Klaviyo, or they don't have these features that I want on my website. But then I noticed that Shopify does have it. And so I want to migrate from Wix over to Shopify. Here comes Wix, like a boyfriend that doesn't want to let you go. No, wait. Like a
That
gym membership that makes it very difficult to
oh
cancel.
my god, don't get me
That's Wix.
started.
That's Wix. Wix makes it
To
impossible
leave them?
to leave them.
They're
Yes.
toxic
They're
then.
toxic. There you go. They don't like for you to go. So they'll hold your domain name or they'll hold your
Your
email
domain,
list. They'll make it tough for you to release it.
even if you didn't buy your domain with them?
Correct. They'll make it tough. They'll make it difficult for you to transfer because they know that that's why you're leaving. You're leaving because you want to jump to another platform, right? And so you want to scrape the data and move it over to the other platform and, whatever. Shopify, I understand that Shopify may not be user friendly for some folks out there, but just understand that it is perhaps one of the easiest platforms to use with all the things that you could do with it. Apple as a product compared to like Android. Now, I'm not saying what phone is better than the other. I'm simply saying that there's more app developers on Apple than there is on Android. And the reason for that is because of how many people own Apple devices across the world. Developers understand that and they want their apps to show up on many devices as possible. The same concept goes for Shopify. Shopify is the same thing. A whole bunch of app developers, they're all in Shopify. So if you want all these bells and whistles and all that in order for you to sell your products, then Shopify is the way to go. If you get frustrated where you're like, oh, I don't know how to do this or that, there's nothing wrong with spending just, $100 or two to a consultant that could just help you out with these issues, or you could find the answers on YouTube. But definitely is the number one leading platform.
Okay. Um, I have this comment here on one of the groups.
Hmm.
Um,
You got to
it's
screen share that when we're
it
editing the film.
says, as I begin my journey, I'm wondering about all of it, and I'm wondering about getting a business license and which company format to choose. LLC, sole proprietor. Do I need to trademark my logo and brand name? And how much liability insurance is best? Excited to learn how to set up my own website. Is a Facebook marketplace page enough, or should I have an independent site? Also, what about QR codes and how to set those up? Thanks.
Wow, that question is packed with everything, but that's cool. Let's go break it down one by one. Let's go with her first question. What was it?
I'm wondering about getting a business license and which company format to choose.
So,
So you don't need a business license. I know this firsthand. You don't need a business license to operate your candle business. What I can tell you is that once you start getting into vendor markets and vendor events, some vendor events will require you to have a business license for liabilities. So I know that here in the local community, if I want to go be a vendor at the Lake Nona Marketplace, the Lake Nona Marketplace does require me to have a business license with the city. So it's case by case. No, you don't need it to start your candle business. Um, and that's my take on the business license portion of it.
right. The next one was
The
about
the format LLC, sole proprietor, S corp, etc.
right. So for that, I remember how you first started with the other company. You didn't know if it was going to take off.
I did not.
Right. So here's the truth about behind that. if you really just don't know that this is going to take off, before you spend money to the government, creating an LLC, going to a bank,
Mm-hmm.
establishing all that, right? It's cool if you just sell under your name.
Yeah, I did that. And because I didn't know,
Hmm.
and I didn't want to go through spending money with the state. And even my CPA told me it was okay. She just told me the minute you start making a lot of sales and you start bringing in X amount, at that point, you do have to open up an LLC to start, is what she told me. And as you grow, you can convert to an S Corp.
Correct. The advantages of the LLC and the S corps, I guess there's more savings when it comes to taxes.
Yeah.
LLC is a good way to start. It's very easy to do,
Yeah.
but you're still paying a good percentage of taxes
Yeah.
for each sale. So just like how you said, you can start with the LLC first. As the business continues to expand or elevate or scale,
Mm-hmm.
that point, do the S corp where you're giving yourself a paycheck, and then the business has its own operational costs. But yeah, that's the answer to that question. What's that next
I
part
would
that she
say
said?
also when it comes to anything accounting and speak to a CPA.
Yeah.
Every state is different. Every state is different. Everybody's business is different. So you're ultimately going to get your best answer talking to a CPA.
Right. When it comes to like accounting questions, based on the state that you are watching this, they all have different laws. California has crazy laws. New York City has crazy laws. Um, the only people who are going to know those laws are the CPAs that represent that state.
Yeah.
So these types of questions, especially that part about the LCs, she should definitely not take our word 100%, but
Yeah.
rather speak to your local CPA and
Yeah,
get the
because we're
answer
only
from the
telling you
state.
based on our own experience where we live in Florida, for
Right.
example.
Hmm.
And also if you are selling, don't forget sales tax. You want to collect that because you do have to pay that every quarter.
Yep.
The next part was um trademark my logo. Do I need to trademark my logo and brand name? And how much liability insurance is best?
Right. So you want to answer that or?
I could start off with the trademark my logo and brand name. It's tough for me because the type of business owner that I am, I do take risks, but I'm also cautious. And with the last example, I didn't open up an LLC immediately because I didn't know it was going to take off. So I trademarking is expensive. It's very expensive, and it's not just one fee. If you do your research, you have attorneys that will charge you a standard, but then if they have to write more letters or answer inquiries, that's an additional charge. Next thing you know, you're in between the 3 to 5 grand just for a trademark. It depends. It all depends. So if you are not, and this is just my opinion, if you have not, your business has not taken off, you don't really have that many sales, I wouldn't recommend it because then you're going to trademark something that you may or may not use. However, you may end up in my situation now where I have somebody that's using my candle name. They just swapped out the O for the U and they are selling on Etsy. So, I don't know, what's your opinion?
So I think that the first most important thing that you should do is you come up with a name, go get that .com. Go to GoDaddy, go somewhere, buy the domain name first. Because can you imagine you're filing for a trademark and then someone else
Yeah.
already bought the .com. So you
Yeah.
did all that for
I
what?
did do that first. I
And
looked
so
up if anybody else had Love You Candle Co.
yeah.
Nobody did. It was available. I got it. Everything was available.
So what ends up happening is that just because you get awarded the trademark doesn't mean you could go after the person on the .com and get that .com. Nope.
True.
If they bought it before you filed, not awarded, just filed, they have authority to keep that .com because they bought it before you even came up with the idea. So that's what I'm saying. You got to get that .com
I
first.
feel
Get
like
the
it's
get
so
the .com
different.
first. Then, if the business actually starts to pick up, then at that point, yeah, sure, go ahead and trademark your name or all that stuff. When it comes to logos, you could start with something basic. unless you really want to go in hard because you have investors behind you and all that stuff. Then at that point, yeah, go ahead and hire a branding expert. And then from there, whatever deliverables that branding expert gives you, go ahead and trademark that, copyright that, go do all that stuff. But if you just grab some rinky dinky logo from Shutterstock or from something like that, like I don't know if it makes any sense for you to trademark or to protect that piece of artwork because so many other people used or downloaded that design, right? So if you're going to protect a piece of art such as a logo, make sure that it was custom tailored made. Like it doesn't disrupt anybody else and it's made by a professional. And then at that point, yeah, go ahead and do that.
I feel like everybody should be researching business names. So, because you have to, in business, you have to be ethical. You have to have ethics to run your business. And like with me, like this person started after me and she did not, clearly she saw that somebody had the name already, otherwise she would have never swapped out the O for the U. But I feel like there's so many different names out there that you just want to make sure you're not stepping on anybody's toes, because it's not cute to step on anybody's toes for you to make money. Like, no.
Nah, it's not cool. And I think it's even worse after you get that trademark, or let's say someone else grabs a trademark and you didn't do your due diligence. Here now they come, their attorneys come with a cease and desist. They're like, yo, you got to take that name down ASAP, or else you're liable from the moment that you had that name up until now. You owe us money. And that's not cool. So, yeah, you got to do your due diligence. For trademarks and stuff like that, it's always best to speak to a business attorney.
Yeah.
They could always tell you about your laws in your states and all that stuff. So again, these are, we're not giving the legal advice. It's always, we recommend for you to um, speak to a business attorney regarding that.
The next part of this
Mhm.
paragraph is a Facebook marketplace page enough, or should I have an independent site? Also, what are QR codes and how to set those up?
All right. So the Facebook marketplace, right?
What is that?
It's a place where people sell things.
Oh, oh my goodness. You're talking about that little where everybody's selling like their furniture?
That's the place where it has a reputation that goes like this. Hey, you still got that candle? Yeah, I do. And then they disappear.
Oh my god. I feel like it has more of a reputation for scamming.
Or scamming, yeah. Like, let's say you're trying to sell something. Here
Yeah.
comes somebody. Hey, yo, you still got that? It was like, yeah, I got it right here. And then you don't hear from them. And they'll come back like a month later. Hey, yo, you still got that? Like, it never commits, right?
I don't
But
like Facebook Marketplace. I've never put my candles on there. I wouldn't do it. I feel like there's just so many people posting on there. Your ad is easily just going to get lost. Like,
yeah, it's one of those places where, yeah, when the idea first came out, I guess it was good. But I wouldn't say that it's a very reputable, high in demand place
it's
for you to
like the
sell.
Craigslist of Facebook.
Yeah, that's the best way to say
It's
it.
like the Craigslist.
It's the
I will
Craigslist.
say that what I do is that I do, and if you watch all of my videos, or at least one, I am a big advocate of your local community. I've said it since day one. Go to all these different Facebook groups in your local community that they are hosting vendor events, that they're hosting different things. Because here in my local community, I do post my candles for, like, for example, Teacher Appreciation Week. I posted candles that I custom made for teachers. Hey guys, I'm making these candles for Teacher Appreciation Week, and you will have customer, hey, I want to order that candle. Can I buy it from you? That I would say yes. But the marketplace, I would say
Yeah, a lot of people, what they do is they start on Instagram, right? And then they have their WhatsApp. That's how they do business.
yeah. I'm saying more for like local community.
Yeah, local
Yeah.
communities, that I think that getting your face out there for the locals to know who you are is probably the best because you're so at reach. And
And
then
then that leads to wholesale accounts too.
yeah, and so and that also, Shopify has the local pickup as well option for checkout. That's also
They
too.
what?
The local pickup. So
Oh,
yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
so
was
if you
like,
have
wait,
a
what? I was thinking of Uber.
nah,
Uber.
Now, so if you have a Shopify store, there's a setting that you could say instead of like shipping it out to the address,
Mm-hmm.
you could locally pick it up.
Do they charge different fees for that?
There's no, well, there's the credit card fee.
Oh no, but there's not like an additional fee to set that up.
No,
Oh,
no, no.
okay.
That comes with all accounts on Shopify.
Okay. Well, that
That was all her questions, right?
yes, that's
All
what
right.
she was asking pretty much. Oh, the QR codes
All right.
and how to set that up.
So the QR codes, just to not waste any time, go to bit.ly.com. You know, bit.ly, that link shortener. Go there. They offer QR codes if you set up a link. Done. That's it. They
But
give you the
what's the
image of it.
QR codes for?
The
As
QR
like
code
on to put
is,
on the candles?
yeah. So let's say you got a candle, whatever, and you could put the QR code like somewhere around there. And when the candle's about to run out, people could grab the phone, point at it, and you should make that QR code not go to the homepage of the website where they have to now find the candle, but rather go to the landing page of the candle itself, and then they could easily rebuy.
I wanted to read this to you. Um, and I know we've been like an hour, but I really wanted to read this to
Nice.
you because I read this and I was like, I don't know. It's
What's up?
long.
Nah, I'm ready.
Okay. If you are considering Shopify as your e commerce platform, here is a huge tip for you. Don't go to Shopify and just set up a regular user account. Instead, go and set up a Shopify partner account. This type of account is mainly designed for web developers who build sites for other people. It is functionally not much different than a regular account, except that it has some tools that apply to people who manage multiple sites rather than one. But it has one huge benefit that will save you money. You can take as long as you need to build your site for free. So here's the typical scenario. You go to Shopify, sign up for the free trial, you get 14 days, then you start getting charged $29 or whatever plan you choose. But it takes much longer than 14 days to build out a site unless you are working on it all day every day. It could reasonably take you a couple of months. What? To get it all
This is so
right and
wrong.
working. Under the normal scenario, you would have paid $60 for nothing. What if it took you 6 months? If it takes you 6 months, close your store. Don't even sell anything. If you if you have a Shopify partner account, you can take as long as you want to build the site. Add apps, configure shipping, test purchases, whatever. Take your time and get it right. Everything on the site works and it works exactly like a regular account does. There is no charge. When you are ready to launch, you hand over the keys to the site owner. This is a well documented process in the help files, and it's really just a few clicks in the dashboard and you're done. In this case, you hand it over to yourself. There is another potential benefit to having a Shopify partner account in that if you want to build other sites in the future, you can do so slowly for free too. Or if you want to help out someone else build their site, it's a much better route than just having a user account that costs you money while you are developing your site. Before you answer, this is why I don't agree with it. Okay, this is my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
It is not a good idea for you to just think that you have all this time in the world to get your business up and running on the ground. I feel like no, you should not be taking your sweet time because you're losing out on time, you're losing out on business, you're losing out on sales, you're losing out on launching. I feel like the minute you give a person way too much time to work on their startup business, you start you start building bad habits of procrastination to get things done when they need to be done. That's my piece. That's what I had to say about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback off of what you just said right now. So, you ever purchase from a website that the shipping is taking just way too long, and you go to their website and you find out, man, I should have had my package a long time ago according to these terms. They said I was gonna get it in X amount of days, and look, it's on the website, and now I'm emailing the business saying, "Where's my package?" That's that person. Okay. So that the truth behind it is that there are people who love the idea of establishing a business. They probably saw an episode on Shark Tank. They probably seen someone else do it. They probably saw an ad. They probably saw something. They probably, an influencer. It doesn't matter. The point is that they're ambitious to start a business, but the truth is that they fail to realize that their life doesn't allow them enough time, or they don't put enough time in order to dedicate to the business. That's why they're saying you could take all the time in the world. You could take 6 months to build your website. If it takes you 6 months to start your business up, what happens the moment where business picks up? Where are you going to set time for that? Their argument might be, well, the moment that money starts coming in, well, that's when I'll start grabbing the wheel and I'll take this serious. Well, you should take this serious from the beginning. Like, if why should that matter? And so for that reason, I'd say, hey, if you want to go down the path of creating a partner's account and doing all those shenanigans, go right ahead. It is a lot more work, but at the end of the day, listen, when Resolutions Design first started in the beginning, remember I told you I started with all mom and poppers, in other words,
Mm-hmm.
startups. So I got to see it and hear it all about excuses and things that, here's the truth. Once we built their website, they were happy. We got our 5 star.